everyone, Kareem Rae here. Today we have Dylan Evande, who is a professional soccer player at Flower City Union FC that plays in the NISA League. And you guys just won the 2022 NISA Independent Cup for the Northeast region. Dylan, congratulations. This is our first time talking since the last time, you were running your academy, and now, you've signed pro and you guys just won. So how does everything feel?
Yeah, no, it's been a while since you and I last spoke, but it feels good. It was a good victory, tough team that we played, but getting the first piece of hardware for the club in a expansion club year, so kind of dealing with the ups and downs of things that may go good and the things that may go bad. It's nice to actually have something to show for it.
Nice. And the last time we spoke, you weren't a pro, but now you're officially a professional player in the United States in the NISA League. How does it? How did that come about? How did that happen?
I mean, to
And
be
wait, sorry, and congratulations to you. I didn't congratulate you on that.
much, no, it was definitely like something that kind of sprung up. um, and it wasn't quite expected to be quite fair. Like I was more in the coaching sector of things, handling things on the opposite end with my training company and dealing with that on a day to day basis. So that was more of my focus and where my head was at. But when the opportunity kind of presented itself and Flower City came calling, through my business partner who was actually connected me because he plays as well at Flower City Union, so he got me in contact, and it was up to me to go perform. And when my mentality had to flip and go from coaching to playing, it was something that I wasn't ever like shying away from, and I always felt like I was really prepared for it. So it kind of came together and it worked out.
Understood. And when you were coaching, right, were you training at the same time? Like, were you training by yourself or with the team and still playing and keeping active, or were you more so focused on, building up your company and training guys?
Well, I mean, I was playing NISA Nation, which is still a relatively high level in the United States. So keeping myself active on a weekly basis, going to training sessions, and also in the process training with my clients, who by no stretch of an imagination are any easier to play against than anybody else. So it was constant competition in my area to keep me as sharp as possible when the door came calling.
Nice, nice, nice. So this was like a surprise to me. I didn't know this was gonna happen for you. I thought you were like more so focused on the business, but this opportunity came about. And again, like that's amazing because it establishes your credibility way more now, and you're getting to do what you love and getting paid to do what you love. So that's amazing.
No, I
Um,
were in the same headspace as you, where they didn't really see it coming, and neither did I, to be fair. So I think we're all in the same like process and transition, and like I'm just dealing with the life of going from being in person and in New Jersey, and then now being in Rochester, New York. So it's a new life that I'm getting adjusted to.
Got it. So you got the call, you went to a trial, you performed. How did you find out that you were getting offered to sign a pro contract?
Well, the I knew that I was going in there on a 4 day trial, so it was Monday to Thursday, so it was kind of like a prove it kind of thing. So they had seen my footage, they had seen what I could provide, and they were in need of a center back, and they were like, if he matches the profile, then we're willing to sign him. But it was all based on upon how I performed and how I did on my trial, and I went there kind of level headed with the mindset of like, okay, listen, like I've been kind of preaching to my clients, and it was like, can you like match what you've been preaching? And I took that challenge like really personal, and I was like, let me just go showcase what I can do and what I've been telling people that I can do. And had a practice on a Monday, went well. Second day went well as well. I think Monday was a very high performing day, so it kind of set the bar high for what they expected, and like I did fairly well on the second day. Third day was another really good day. And then Thursday was the day where they actually told me post session that they were gonna sign me, because I had a really, really flawless like session. And I ended up actually scoring goals. And I don't score too many goals as a center back, but got in on a corner, scored a goal in the 11s, and team tied 1-1 with the starters. And they pulled me in after training, and they were just like, listen, like we we want to put pen to paper, and the rest was history.
Nice. I love that, man. I love that story, man. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this when we're done. Nice. So you went in there with confidence. You had something to prove to yourself, and you mentioned that you were preaching to the players. Mention a couple of things that you usually preach to the players that you coach.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing for sure is just the aspect of like humility and humbleness, because there's a lot of there's like I think in the process of trying to develop and trying to go from one step to the next, and as people start to gain all these accolades and go from a lower level to a higher level, you start to gain an ego, right? And I think that's the most common thing, is gaining an ego in the process of doing what you're doing and believing that you actually don't need to continue to develop. So I think that's one thing that I preach to the guys, is stay comfortable in the stage that you're at right now, and understand that there is always levels to this. Like there's somebody else that's working, there's somebody else that's better than you. So continuously like progress. And even when you're doing something right, it's about, it's a repetition thing. So it's consistency. So that's something that I preach all the time to these guys. And then like I was kind of just trying to be a advocate of my word when I went over there, and I kind of took that really serious every single time. I was keeping ultra footy at the back of my head while I was doing everything that I was doing.
Nice. I gotta say, I love it again. This is a great story to look back to, because you were on the podcast, focused on ultra footy. This opportunity came about. Now you're a pro player. What does this do to the brand? What does this do for your career now playing with Flower City Union?
No, it does a lot for the brand. Like between myself and my business partner Jordan Sailing being in the same place, being able to navigate through the journey of being professional players, and pushing that onto our clients is something that is a credible platform. You know what I mean? Like now, not only were we preaching professionalism, but there's actually a sense of of credibility. Like we're there, hands on, in place, living it on a day-to-day basis. So it's something we take with a lot of pride. And yes, it does elevate the company to a whole new level, where now the reach and networking that we can do to provide opportunities for individuals that are in the space to to gain those opportunities. That's a blessing for me, and that's a blessing for Jordan as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Um, Man, living proof of it now. So let's dive a little bit back to the trial process. Did you have an agent for the signing process, or was it more so you looked over the contract? Um, like, what was that process like? What'd you do? How'd you go about it?
I did not. I did not go there represented. I feel as though at this stage in life and all the different things that I've gone between ups and downs and different trials, like I've sort of gained a great overview of what it is exactly that's going on, and how to not get screwed in politics of this game. So I went in there self-represented, um, with guidance from individuals around my inner circle, to try to pull the most out of the situation. And I think that I went in there and I did what I needed to do to gain the leverage that I need for my career.
Nice. What advice would you give to young players that want to go pro?
Uh, Believe in yourself. I mean, it starts right there. It's inner belief, and I think that was my greatest teacher throughout the journey of this. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of people that talk about you, a lot of people that speak of your name in vain, and they don't think that you can or cannot do things. And all you have to do is have self belief. If you believe that you can do it, then all you have to do is match the the daily efforts that it takes to showcase that that's what it is that can be accomplished. And then in terms of going pro, I think like you just need to have less emotions attached to the journey of going pro, right? I think a lot of people want to go pro, and they think that there's that every little mistake that they do hinders that process. But in reality, a lot of the things that you do are the steps that get you there, right? So all the missed opportunities, all the missed trials, all the games that you didn't win, those are all part of your development and your mental durability towards getting to that step. Because if you never face any hardship, when you get to a place of hardship, you won't know how to cope. So I think just disattaching emotions to the journey is something that can help you get to where you need to be.
Great points. I love it, man. You know, you mentioned that you play center back and you're able to score some goals. What advice would you give to players that play the same position as you that want to improve and get better?
Um, I mean, you need to really study. I think for me, when I was younger, I played at the six, so I was one step above, one step higher on the pitch. So seeing that side of things and kind of making that transition and pushing myself back to center back, it was, while it was a transition, it wasn't the hardest transition in the sense that I was already like shadow defending, so I was covering ground and breaking up play. But then when I made that transition, you start to see that, okay, not only do I have to break up play, but I have to be very particular and precise about when it is that I want to step, when it is that I don't want to step, what's my line doing. So it's not just you working as an individual, but now you're working as a unit in the back four, right? So understanding spacing, understanding positioning, understanding pressure cover balance, all these different things are parts of the game that need to be studied and take a lot of care and value for the things that you're trying to do. So I think even till this day, it's a process. You need to study, 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 study. And I'm not the best person to be telling you this, but like even guys at the highest level will tell you the same thing. You know, like center backs at the highest level will tell you just keep studying the position. That's the only way you can get better. And don't think that you have it figured out, because somebody will come and humble you, and you just need to keep learning. So it's a process. Every game, every mistake that I make, I sit back, watch film, understand what went wrong, what I could have done better in that situation. Maybe I mistimed a jump, a header. Maybe I try to jump on a striker. He anticipates I'm about to jump him and he gets in behind me, and maybe I have to read those situations. So it's learning. It's learning at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, great points again. The first time that I spoke to you, you always have this add this humbleness component to everything that you do, and it's a part of who you are. And I think I agree with you 100%. Being humble is so key to leveling up. I think to stay grounded, because if your head gets too big, then it could blow up. But if you stay grounded, you know you can maneuver. So I agree with you 100%. Before we dive into the fun questions, I want to ask you two last questions, and if you want to add anything else, we could do so. Um, the second last question is
Hold on.
what
Could you pause it?
my second last question is what are your plans now, your short and long term goals?
Uh, I mean, that question is kind of broad just because there's
Yeah,
so.
just like, sorry, let me be more specific. Sorry. Um, you know, like now you're playing pro, you still have ultra footy. Like what's the short term vision and then the long term plan?
Short-term vision for ultra footy or short-term
Like for
vision?
everything, everything.
Well, I think obviously it kind of intermixes itself because my career is ultra footy, because everything that I've done and every detail that I've taken towards the process of getting to where I'm at is ultra footy in its essence, between myself and with Jordan and all the years that we've spent training together to get to where we're at. So I think as I elevate, as Jordan elevates, ultra footy elevates in the same breath. So short-term goals, I think, is just constant performance, right? Ending the season in a better way than we started it. Obviously, it hasn't been the best season that we would have expected, but that is to be expected when you're going to an expansion club. You have to go in there with the understanding that things are going to mess up. People, as you're going in there for the first year, the people on the board are going in at the same time trying to adjust, trying to create a culture so that the second year is a whole lot better. So short-term goals is just trying to close out better than we actually started the season, right? And I think long-term goals is trying to maximize my career, uh, play as many professional games as I possibly can while establishing myself as one of the top center backs in the league. Um, and then with that, just being the most savvy businessman in the process to try to continue to create doors for other people to step into. Because I think if you're not trying to bring a community with you, you're failing in your process of trying to do things because you're now trying to um, discredit the people that were there with you to try to get you to the stage that you're at. So I think that if I can open as many doors as possible in the process of me growing, then I think that that's a long-term success.
Yeah, that's amazing. Look, um, you know, your humbleness and your genuineness from inside the beautiful game, I know, no questions asked, you're going to succeed in whatever you do, and that's with ultra footy playing pro. So you're already succeeding now, and you're going to continue to succeed, I believe. The last question I want to ask you is, what's your most memorable soccer moment in your life?
Um, I mean, thus far, it would have to be my professional debut, though it didn't the score line didn't depict what we wanted to do. I think just the process of knowing that I made it to the the finish line of my short term goals was the best accomplishment for me. So just stepping on that field, knowing that listen, like you can breathe now and know that you did what you need to do to get to where you wanted to be, and now it's just let's rewrite a new script and start over. Now that I've made it to this stage, what are my new goals? So I think the best career moment thus far was when I stepped on that pitch versus Chattanooga and played my professional debut.
Nice. Was there anything else that you wanted to add or talk about before we dive into the fun questions?
Um, no, no, I think I've said mostly.
For sure. All right. Well, Dylan, have we done the fun questions already? I think we have. Yeah, we
Yeah,
have. So we'll scrap that. I'll end it off. Dylan, before we go, I just want to thank you for taking the time for joining us on the One Soccer Nation podcast today.
all right, thank you for having me. No, this was great. Obviously, like we were here together before in a different setting, and now it's a new time for me in my career, and I appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. This is a great relationship to have, and I know later, like I'm envisioning so many things, especially with your relationship with the club that you have now. You guys could be, later down the line, you could have an academy with 200, 400 players and be sending them, helping other players realize their dreams, going pro in NISA and whatever else ventures that you do, and the relationship between us and One Soccer Nation as well. So it's yeah,
Yeah, no, thank you. No, that's definitely a goal of mine. So
for sure. I'm looking forward to it, bro.
thank you, Kareem.